Lindsey Graham is an open-minded guy. You just wanted to get to the truth, find out what's in the report. Now the report is out, and here is what he thinks about it.
I'm confident the FBI did a good job. They were not hindered in any way. The focus of the background check was on credible allegations before the committee. I was looking for certain things to be answered by witnesses. I'm more confident than ever that what the committee found is held up and then some. The main thing for me is that you need to go to the FBI and you need to ask them, did they feel like they were able to do their job without interference? And I think the answer is yes. The senators who requested the supplemental FBI background check got what they requested, and I am ready to vote.
Yeah, he was ready to vote before. That was absolutely full of lies, obvious, demonstrable lies, but it's Lindsey Graham, so what do you expect?
Do you know what time that was? When it was 11:54 a.m. Eastern. I think they began looking at it at 8 a.m. in the shifts. We talked about Chuck Grassley wanted the process to be kept in, so they would make sure that there was no leaking, because maybe some politicians from whatever side want to leak what they saw to the public, and they want to keep it under wraps. So for each party, they'd have to view the report in 1-hour shifts, and the document would change hands between the parties each hour. It had been, so from 8 a.m. to almost noon, they'd had almost 4 hours, and he's already giving interviews talking about how sure he is of what happened, and he's ready to vote. I wonder how much he and his staff actually looked at that report.
I mean, do you think he looked at it? Maybe he went in the room with it. I doubt he cared to actually look. So look, we have a little bit more video, but I think we should make two things clear here based on the reaction of many Republicans to this report. And not just the Republicans, but also their supporters, because I've been seeing a lot of conversation. The right-wing pundits, the regular right-wing voters talking about this. Two things have become very clear. The first, having to do with the Republican senators, is, do you remember back before the FBI investigation, in fact, before Kavanaugh and Ford testified at all, there was the doppelganger theory going around, or the Ed Whalen, I guess there was just a guy that looked a lot like Brett Kavanaugh in the area who tried to rape Christine Blasey Ford. Those were theories that were laughed at. However, flash forward a week or so, that is what every Republican senator that is so far on the record saying they will vote for Brett Kavanaugh obviously believes is going on. Because they continually say, she is credible, we believe that she was attacked, but we also believe Brett Kavanaugh, he didn't attack her. So somebody back in 1982 in that area that looked enough like Brett Kavanaugh that she has been fooled this entire time into believing it was him, tried to rape her. So in 1 week, we moved from crazy conspiracy theory that is laughed at across the internet to every Republican senator believes that this is literally what happened, and they're willing to put someone on the Supreme Court because of it.
Because the reality, honestly, is they either don't believe her or they don't care that it happened.
Or they don't care. Yeah, I guess maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the best case scenario for some of these. The worst case scenario is that they think that sexual assault, not so bad. The second thing, this is, I guess, something that women in this country have probably known for a long time. Guys are waking up to it. We are not so different from other parts of the world where women's testimony is considered to be, at best, a fraction as valuable as that of a man. They continually say there is no evidence that any of these things happened. That means that all of these women, what they are saying means absolutely nothing. There needs to be a man who says she is right. There needs to be a man that was there. If Mark Judge doesn't say that she's telling the truth, her testimony amounts to nothing. It is like the despotic regimes that we mock for not having the enlightened view of women and equality that we have here. And yet, when it comes time for a situation like this, we treat women exactly the same. Sure, you believe that you were raped. Okay, maybe you were raped. Maybe someone tried to rape you, but it certainly wasn't him. He's powerful, he's conservative, he's ending up on the Supreme Court.
And he's my friend.
And he's my friend. And so, yeah. I'm sure you believe all sorts of things happened to you, honey, but they didn't actually happen. Maybe if Mark Judge said that you were telling the truth, maybe. He's a conservative man. Maybe we'd believe you then, but not in this case. So this is a dark thing that I have had to realize about how our legal system works. And again, it is the 50th thing that confirms why so many women did not feel comfortable for the entirety of their lives coming forward, because they won't be believed. It doesn't matter how much detail they have. It doesn't matter how many witnesses they have. You will not be believed. The president might go to one of his rallies and literally mock you so that tens of thousands of people will laugh at your pain.
And the people who didn't like it, I know we talked about it yesterday. The people who didn't like it, what Trump did at the rally, were like, oh, that's despicable, disgusting. He divides. He's such a horrible guy when it comes to this stuff. And then we stopped talking.
Yeah.
What's the rest of the thought? It's like, so you have a disgusting, horrible, divisive person that you're supporting. That's all you've done is point out who you're supporting and what their characteristics are.
Yeah.
That's all you've done.
Yeah. So look, I wanted to play the videos of Raj Shah, his deputy communications, and he was saying, yeah, all these concerns about drinking, no, they weren't investigated. You know why? Because the only people that wanted that investigated were Democrats, and they're not going to vote for him anyway. This entire thing has been as partisan as any nomination process for a Supreme Court justice has ever been, ever. And to me, it shows that we need to not just get past Kavanaugh. Yes, hashtag cancel Kavanaugh. But beyond that, we need to fundamentally change the way we put forward Supreme Court justices. The lifetime appointment process, there are reasons why it was initially instituted. The idea was that it would insulate the justices from political pressure. It would take some of the partisanship out of the court. Does anyone feel like it's actually accomplishing that in the modern day?
Exact opposite.
The exact opposite, but it certainly comes with a lot of negatives, and we are seeing that on a daily basis right now as we go forward in this process. We need to fundamentally rethink how we put people on the Supreme Court, how long they serve on the Supreme Court, etc. Okay, why don't we take our first break? When we come back, some predictions as to how this might actually play out. We're gonna go to some of the senators. What have they been saying about what came out of the FBI investigation after this?
The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.